Alright, hello, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm your charming, self-proclaimed, yet still humble host, Mukluk. And today, we're jumping back into the not-so-wonderful universe of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. For those that weren't here for our previous episodes of this is our second playthrough of the game. It has been a while. However, there have been multiple DLCs that have come out since last time we played it, so we are seeing those for the first time, including this lady that likes bleeding herself all over the deck. Let's see. If the Undying One whispers my name, will you carry out his will?
Lords and wretches are equal before them. If such is the Undying One's will, I will guide you to him, Domin.
Okay.
Me.
Okay. Hail to the Emperor, but more importantly, hail to Mukluk. Hello, Mr. Matterman. Thank you. What was today's Pop-Tarts all the flavor? I had Eggo waffles this morning. Alright. So next up, let's see. Is there anything else to check out on the ship before we go down to another planet? Let's see. Let's see. The captain's quarters, freight line. I don't know what these two are. Void Ship Shrine and Astropathic Chapel. Let's check out the shrine. Let's see if there's anything interesting there. I had regular eggs this morning. Eggs sounds really good. Honestly, that sounds like an upgrade from frozen waffles. Alright, Void Ship Shrine. What is going on here?
There will be
Let's go from one side to the
peace
other
in
here.
my wake.
Examine. The skeleton inside the sarcophagus is holding a spherical object gleaming with gold.
My house would be
An ancient-looking chainsword without a fuel engine rests on the weapon rack. The shape of its teeth makes you think of the Ulma Universalis, a pattern from the Angevin Crusade era. The Imperium Invictum, the shards of an unknown Angevin Crusade warrior's twin blades, returned from pirate captivity by the grace of the Emperor.
What lies beyond?
I better myself through my service.
Among the antique weapons, you spot the maul known as the Ferrum Fatum. Legend has it that its head split when it cracked open the skull of the loathsome demon Brenazar the Flayer. The Rex Regalia, the partially restored blade of Zathudas the Earnest, a missionary who decimated the abominable Xenos and fell in a deathly battle against the unrighteous. The machine in the shrine confessional emits a low hum as it processes the congregants' vox recordings.
One step at a time.
I can't. Can I talk to him?
Madness.
Confessor Adalbart. Confessor Adalbart, a plump, rosy-cheeked man, is lighting candles, taking his time with each. Glints of fire dance on his heavy golden aquila, and in the sky-blue eyes as he addresses you, smiling. The Emperor protects your lordship. Are you here to pray, or have mundane matters brought you to me? There is an incredibly profound quality to his voice, and he speaks with mesmerizing timbre. Did Lady Theodora come here often? Your predecessor always had due concern for the reliquary's maintenance and its needs, and under her rule, faith occupied its proper place on this ship. He gives you a diplomatic smile. You are positively beaming with joy. A priest like you is a rare sight. He laughs good-naturedly. A fair observation. Everyone knows that the clergy must maintain a stern appearance to inspire fear and awe in their flock. His mirth fades, giving way to pensive gravitas. The truth is that my clan and I experienced great hardship. I cannot explain how it is I am standing before you now, except by his will. How could one be anything but joyful, knowing they were saved by the Emperor? What happened to your clan? I was scarcely more than a child when the malady struck our cabins. First would come the fever, then the unlucky victim would start retching blood. After that, they would melt away like a candle. Only the youngest survived, myself among them. He smiles feebly. But now my family is growing, and I'm grateful for each new life that replaces one lost. I would like to hear more about this place. He smiles warmly at you. I could talk about the reliquary chapel for hours. Where does this collection of sacred relics come from? Every relic we have here was either arduously tracked down by your ancestors, captured in battle against the faithless, or received as a gift for glorious deeds. A show of loyalty to the Emperor that speaks for itself, does it not? He makes no effort to conceal his pride. For our part, we keep the precious relics intact and undisturbed as we conduct liturgies and perform rites. Initiate Ziek is especially diligent in his care for the relics. Though he is of common stock, he earned his position through dedication and piety. Is this the only place of worship on the ship? Why no, there are multiple sancta on every deck where your subjects pray fervently and the clergy keeps a close watch on the firmness of their faith. This, on the other hand, he gestures around at the glittering reliquary, is the holiest of holy places, where only the noblest among your servants are permitted to set foot. Okay. I would like to hear the Imperium's tenets from you. Let's see. Mandar says, migraine morning, save me, Chad and Muck, I need my brain. Brains are overrated. If smart, why hurt? I know Muck gets them sometimes, but have remedy besides over-the-counter meds. Okay, so there are many people that do not get migraines at all. And there's some people that think a migraine is just a bad headache. But if you're having, like, actual migraines, like, I feel bad for you, because they suck. Typically, if I have a headache that has not yet become a migraine, but I can feel it's getting worse, sometimes some caffeine, like, just a soda, and Excedrin will help. If it continues getting worse, then there's many things I've done. Sometimes getting in the shower and just having, like, water beating on my head, sometimes that helps, or at least, like, it kind of masks the pain while I'm in there. Sometimes I'll do that, and then if that's still not enough, I'll keep turning the water colder and colder and colder until it's like my head is numb, and then I can't feel it. It's like giving yourself an ice cream headache on purpose because you can't feel the pain if it's numb. That's another one I've done before if it's like really, really bad. Ice, not heat. Oh yeah, heat has never helped me with a migraine. Now, granted, different people are different, right? It's absolutely possible that some folks might use that. But for me, it's always like numb it, not warm it up. But it might change based on the individual. But yeah, it's just over-the-counters, like Excedrin, caffeine is my first go-to. If it keeps getting worse, usually if I've got one of my worst headaches, I just start like throwing up constantly. It's just like the pain is so bad, I can't keep anything down. Despite the fact that I'm not having a stomach ache. So because of that, then, over-the-counter meds are out. So usually after that, it's like, okay, I'm just going to numb my whole freaking head. Let's see, Mahuyo says you should eat real waffles, not fake waffles. But eggs are good. Having 5 to 6 of those in the morning is good for me. I don't know about for you. It's probably better for the body than what I ate this morning. I hear mixed on heat are cool. Yeah, I need a certain cola, have caffeine tablets, etc. too. Vizini says, again, I catch you cheating. More Guild Wars 2 streams. Guild Wars 2 has been abusing me. 3 times this week, Guild Wars 2 has just rebooted my computer, and I don't know why. Alright, Adalbert. In a voice brimming with solemnity, Adalbert begins. Many man and woman has their place in the order he created, and this order must be followed and the will of one's superiors obeyed. Beware of witches, for they have been stained by the warp. Persecute mutants, for they are perversions of the human form, and hate the accursed Xenos. The ecclesiarchy tells us to persecute mutants, but an exception was made for navigators. The Navis Nobilitae are different from most humans, but their differences are a blessing. They are noble servants of the Imperium who help humanity expand its galactic domain. Do you not see that as a higher purpose that pleases the Emperor? It is a pleasure to hear that, unlike the ignorant rabble, you give due acknowledgement to the greatness of our deeds, Confessor. Oh, she's right there. The Imperial Creed prescribes being wary of psychos, but the Imperium needs them. You are right. Without the astropaths, we are deaf and blind, and there are many other psychers laboring for the good of humanity. That is their place within the Emperor's design, but only those among them who accept his light and have been authorized. Adira, Adira has not been authorized. Adira scoffs contemptuously. For once in your life, you could just admit that it doesn't take a tongue callous from prayer to handle the warp's dangers. Among the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Emperor is known as the Omnissiah. They have their own form of worship. Do they truly share our beliefs? Most certainly. Different likenesses of the Emperor and ways of worshipping him can be found across the Imperium's worlds, but we all believe in the one. For the purposes of optimizing the present exchange, I suggest regarding the statement as true. For a competent answer to the question, I recommend addressing this unit as a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus clergy. Come to think of it, my warrant entitles me to violate the Imperial Creed in many ways. Violate. Those are not to be conceived of as violations. A rogue trader's privileges come with a duty. The duty to expand the bounds of human influence. If the rogue trader must take responsibility for unorthodox solutions or actions in the course of performing that duty, then so be it. That will suffice for now. As your lordship wishes. So I could have insulted the guy, but I saw no need to do that. Hold on, we're gonna shrink him down a little bit to make the picture larger. Alright. I must take my leave. May the Emperor's blessing be upon you. Alright. Pascal's like, since we're stuck here forever otherwise, let's just say what he said is true. Yeah.
In this tapestry of a world,
offer a prayer.
I am the rogue thread.
You recite a prayer, the one you remember best. Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub. Yay, God. The Aquila Anima, a fragment of the Cathedral of Eternal Redemption, brought... Dang it. Brought from the Shrine World of Solus 6, now lost. Dude, all the people. This statue is huge! No wonder it takes so much fuel to move this thing around. This freaking statue's massive. Astropathic Chapel. Ye God, amen, yep.
Everything's giant in the Imperium.
Mm-hmm. Airstone, thank you. Appreciate you. Good food, good meat, good God, let's eat.
Ugh, they're staring at me with their burnt eyes like I'm a leper. I'm just passing through, all right? So you lots can calm down.
Fervent prayer, +1 resolve in the next combat.
Flooded the astropath souls with myriad shades of horror. No, we should not tarry here.
Let's see. +1 resolve in the next combat. The bonuses disappear after combat ends.
Curiosity.
The throne is furnished with a conductive charge supply and can be turned into an instrument of execution at any moment. Oh, dang. So these are these psychers that, like, relay messages between this ship and other ones. And so if their workstations are also electric chairs, so if they start acting up, they could just press a button. They meaning, like, their shift manager.
They will see.
Underneath the grill, you see enormous outlines of formidable machines in a greenish
We'll
haze.
see.
Sounds like one of my jobs? That should not remind you of one of your jobs. The last beacon cannot be saved from the 13th storm. The lapsed father's beloved son will open his yawning maw. This guy's about to get toasted. Oblivion is inevitable. After the boundless sunset comes the horrific sunrise, brought forth into a wailing world from the womb of... There he goes. Clean up aisle 3. Hello there. Hi, Zarlik.
Patience.
I saw the choir master praying again on my shift. Like the previous times, I don't think he sleeps at all. All he does is pray. Master Weiss is a pious man. You ought to follow his example. Logic check. Once the text is ready for final interpretation, the compiler sends it to the choir master, along with a list of meanings for the known images. Detecting extinguished candles on thrones. Rich Technomat. Oh my god. This thing is huge. What is this? The mechanism rotates steadily, adding dry clicking noises to the chapel's melody every time a manipulator catches against one of the dents in the drum. Sigma AR-87. Protect us from the machine spirit's unrest, for without his gifts our sacrifices are fruitless. You can barely hear the voice of the young astropath standing very still next to the bulky mechanism. His face frozen in a mask of despair, his anemic hands are pressed to his chest, clutching compiled strips of thick paper. He hears you approach and composes himself. The engine seer, his head lowered, does not so much as glance in your direction. With his hands folded underneath his robe, he makes a barely audible, unpleasant sound, a prayer in Techna Lingua. Isn't that when it's like binary? A collection of dialects used by the Adeptus Mechanicus and its tech priests. Can be used as a spoken language with audio bursts or as a machine code with electric signals. What is going on here? The sacred compiler is ailing, your lordship. A gloom has come over the machine spirits, and they are disrupting the mechanism's operation. The 12th row of the drum is now adding incorrect symbols. The man shows you a stack of papers, and you notice at once that the rows of squiggles in each line all end with the same glyph. We summoned the servants of the Omnissiah, but the machine spirits are none too eager to heed their prayers. The esteemed engine seer is in a state of tech prayer trance and hasn't moved from the spot for a day now. He shrinks his head into his shoulders timidly. I had the audacity to think the sacred compiler could be better helped by examining its parts, but who am I to question the secret knowledge of the Adeptus Mechanicus? Pascal. Unit Sigma AR-87 is currently in a tech trance of shared comprehension with the spirit of the Archaeotech device cataloged under the name Steam Spindle. Disturbing the unit is not recommended. Pascal falls silent for a few seconds. However, a preliminary diagnostic has revealed several algorithmic faults that are in conflict with the sacred mechanism's processes. A practical intervention into certain cycles will likely aid the release of the accumulated burden. Let us see if there is any way I can help. Okay, so we've got like a little quest here. Wax-stained interpreter. Tech use. Once clean of the candle wax that seeped inside, the inner workings of the interpreter move much more easily. So there's just a bunch of candle wax in the machine because y'all light 1,000 candles in here?
In my wake.
The receiver's enormous reels direct paper tapes containing unprocessed text into the chapel's depths after blessing the paper with an imprint of sacred cogs. The sensors of the text-correcting calibrator are dead. A prayer to the Omnissiah makes the new sensors spring to life. The voices blend in an unnatural unison. The longer you listen to the choral chant, the stronger your headache grows. Oh, there you go, Mandar Sarv. You've been listening to Tech Choir. You're not authorized for that. That's why your headache's getting worse.
And the rogue thread.
Did that fix it? Okay, no, there's more stuff to fix. We gotta find more broken things. An endless stream of symbols fills the paper tapes. A deceased navigator's organ repurposed for the choirmaster's needs. Here's where processed messages converge. Wait, what? From all over the chapel. Malfunctioning cogitator. The miniature screens are displaying red error messages. You command the machine to run a diagnostic and the messages disappear. Chat, we turned it off and on again. The machine uses as many quills to commit the astropath's whispers to paper, then sorts the results on raw mental images based on their meaning. The back of the throne is smeared with something dark red and old.
Curiosity.
Did you restart it 3 times, though? I understand that reference. Faulty transcriber manipulators. Pascal? The transcriber quills are leaving blots on the paper. You remove the device's casing and discover a leaking ink supply hose. I'm glad Pascal was with me when I did this, because he's fixing everything in here. Grumbling receiver router. Scraps of paper are stuck inside the mechanism, causing it to rattle terribly. Cleaning the machine's parts and anointing them with sacred unguent restores the machine to its clear, clanging voice. Chat, anytime you apply like lubricant or thermal paste to a device in the future, I urge you to call it sacred unguent. Your lordship, the astropath smiles at you, the shy, awkward smile of someone unused to smiling. The sacred mechanism is working again with no disruptions. With a trembling hand, the psyker hands you a strip of paper with smooth rows of etched characters, this time containing no errors. The injured seer rises proudly to his feet and says in low Gothic, a language he clearly has not had much practice in. With sacred words and virtuous thoughts turned toward the machine god, I have been able to pacify this mechanism's wayward spirits. The Omnissiah blesses. So what now? I recommend installing 2 incense-burning units in this compartment to prevent the spirit's continued anger. The unit Zachary Weiss will be provided with a list of minor recommendations, 142 in total, for improvements to the compartments of maintenance. Failure to implement will result in sanctions on the part of the Adeptus Mechanicus priesthood. Wow. So this guy was just praying the whole time. We ran around and fixed like 20 small things, and then he's like, I did it. Okay. Let's back to the bridge. Not even here can Muck avoid tech support. I mean, it's kind of more fun with the way that Warhammer 40k does it. Let's see. Okay, Coronis map. Alright, Alright, so we need to head here again. And we got new place to go, the Electrodynamic Cenobium. So we're gonna go there. I'm reluctant to worship God of Machines, shall I call him the Omnissiah? What? That sentence was a roller coaster. We'll cover the landing area, your lordship. Glory to the Von Valancius dynasty. Yeah, you do that. Lore Imperium.
Oh, yes.
The computational altar surrounded by a great number of candles and commoners' measly offerings. Athletics check.
Another notch.
Goods. Lore Imperium. The sacred statue has been shattered into pieces at the hands of blasphemous heretics.
As it should be.
Judging by the dead people's equipment, they were the same wardens the governor set to the monastery's aid.
There will be no peace in my wake.
I feel like I just found a Vista in Guild Wars 2. Oh, wait, there's something else back here I missed. Box. So I do believe, chat, if memory serves, we're about to run into Heinrich,
The rogue thread.
the Sanctioned Psyker. Open the gate. The binary chem awakens the gate's latching mechanism. The heretics were killed swiftly and ruthlessly. They never had time to reach for their weapons. I mean, that's a good thing, right?
To the current of the motive force. May its dulcet light shine in our nospheric coronas. May its vitality nourish our augments. May its purity wash over our imperatives and engrams.
A mercifully quick electric shock was not what killed this occultist. His face was contorted in pain as if he was tortured.
I'm not satisfied with that answer. I will repeat my question again. The last electro-priest you killed, where did you find him?
Burn in the fire of dawn, servant of the Corpse Emperor!
Another one meets the limit of his utility. The last of them.
The limit of his utility. The tall, dark-haired man sizes you up with a quick glance. A supernatural chill is making the I cannot talk. The air around him crackles softly. The expensive fabric of his jacket is stitched with gold thread and marked by several reddish-brown stains. A force sword and a vox hang from his belt, and the emblem of the Holy Inquisition glitters on his chest. Well, he's surrounded by dead enemies, so let's show him that we're good. The Emperor protects.
And in this, we must be like him. My greetings to you, fellow servant of the Master of Mankind. I am Interrogator Heinrichs van Kalox of the Imperial Inquisition's esteemed Ordo Xenos. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Shadow. A great big sun-eclipsing, chain-weaving shadow.
What?
I can see the threads, myriads of them extending toward us all. And
What?
all of them creeping off toward him like snakes.
What?
Shrouding us in poison. My, oh my, do I sense trouble. And it's right in my throat. It itches.
A puff of black smoke comes out of the Psyker's mouth and dissipates at once. Adira, you're embarrassing me.
A psyker. Interesting. And a diviner at that. Even more interesting. Are you sanctioned?
Don't you Inquisition me. I'm under the Rogue Trader's protection.
She looks at you pleadingly. Adira is a member of my personal retinue and is under my protection.
Your retinue, you say? Then let's go back to my previous question. With whom do I have the honor of speaking?
Rogue Trader Mukluk von Valancius.
Von Valancius? To the best of my knowledge, that dynasty is headed by the esteemed Theodora von Valancius. Has there been a change of circumstances?
Theodora is dead, slain in battle by enemies of humanity.
The news is lamentable. My condolences. And I presume the heir to the sacred warrant of trade and the lofty title of Rogue Trader is none other than yourself. Well then, what precisely has brought you to the sanctum of the Omnissiah?
Is Adira a vibe detector? Yeah, kind of. But it definitely takes some deciphering to figure out what the heck she's talking about most of the time. I am here to collect you. I am under orders from the Lord Inquisitor to offer any assistance that you may require, after which I am to provide you safe passage to footfall aboard my ship.
Then the timing of our meeting is fortuitous. I am requisitioning you and your retinue for my task. Starting with her. You have provided exactly the kind of specialist that this
Kibble.
situation requires.
What?
I am the Domin's shadow. If he says the word, I will protect you. If he says the word, I will take you to the Undying One.
She's like, I'll send you to God, same day shipping.
To aid his faithful servant in the fight against corruption is the solemn duty of all whose actions affect millions of the Imperium's subjects. Let your example guide those who will carry the Emperor's light across